are you? Like, who are you really? Do you know? We live with ourselves 24/7, day in, day out, for our whole lives. We are the only person whose thoughts we can hear. We're the only people we can truly know inside out. And yet, many of us don't actually know ourselves that well at all. This is where personal growth or self-development steps in. Personal growth means nothing more than wanting to become a better person and to live a more fulfilled life. Hi, I'm Tash from The Loving Lifestyle, a channel dedicated to helping you live your best life. Today I have 4 steps to help you facilitate personal growth. But before we start, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that big red button and the little bell below so you never miss my content. Firstly, before we start growing, we need to start knowing. Personal growth runs alongside self-awareness. Self-awareness is when you consciously know and understand your own personality, feelings, desires, behaviors. When you are highly self-aware, you can evaluate your actions and emotions and understand how your behaviors are perceived by others, as well as adjust and align these things with your values. Being highly self-aware means that you can objectively reflect on your behaviors and emotions, and therefore recognize where you need to do the work. So how do we become self-aware so that we know where we need to grow? Through reflection. We can meditate, journal, listen to our intuition or gut instinct, read, spend time in nature, answer questions about ourselves, or most likely, all of the above. In order to know who we truly are, we need to tap into that knowing inside of us. I know that this concept may seem a little fluffy to some, but what we have to understand is that we live in a natural world, but the industrial, competitive, money-hungry part of society considers anything other than cold, hard facts to be nonsense or woo-woo. But knowing who you are is incredibly valuable, and it's worth taking the time to open up your mind, to allowing yourself to listen to what your gut instincts are actually telling you. When you do this inner work, whether through meditation or journaling or any other means, you are discovering who you are, not who you want to be. A lot of people have ideas about the kind of person that they want to be, but often these ideas have been shaped by external influences. By taking the time to be present with yourself, you'll be able to discover who you are without the influence of others. The hardest thing about discovering who you are is that it needs to be done in peace. You need to be quiet internally and externally so that you can listen to what you truly desire and value in life. And that is a scary concept for a lot of people. We live in a world of constant distraction. Being busy is commended, and people who spend too much time alone are considered weirdos. But honestly, those who are completely comfortable in their own company are the ones who've got it right. If you want to try to tap into that knowing inside of you, then nature is a fantastic place to start doing that. No headphones, no podcasts, just enjoy walking in your surroundings and soaking up the beauty. Listen to what thoughts come up when you're in nature. They're often the most pure, and it goes without saying that if you find time to be alone and reflect, turn off your phone. Self-reflection is uncomfortable work, so it's easy to feel drawn to lose ourselves in our phones for a distraction from the discomfort. It's not going to be an easy process, but you will never be able to live a truly fulfilled life until you are comfortable with who you are internally and externally. So you may as well start doing the inner work now and accept that it's going to be uncomfortable for a while, but you will reach a breakthrough. Secondly, open yourself up to new experiences. In your whole life, you will have multiple personality types. You will walk different paths, have different jobs, vote different parties, date different people, party for months, see no one for months. Therefore, when you tell yourself that you are one thing, you are forcing yourself into a box that may not fit you anymore. How to increase your openness? Discover where your skills lie. We spend a lot of time as kids trying out different skills, hobbies, sports, crafts, books, etc. But then we just stick with those few things we were considered good at and never revisit our options later in life. We grow and evolve so much all the time. Every 5 years is a completely fresh chapter in your life. Write a brand new list of all the skills and hobbies accessible to you and start working your way through them again from the top. Even if you weren't a great dancer at school, you are a totally different person now, so why not try it again? In fact, any skill that you have not practiced in 5 years, give it another go, free from previous judgments. And open your mind up to the possibility that your talents may lie in something that you've tried 3 times already, or never at all. We can also start saying yes to challenges and no to fear. I am a firm believer that you should be able to say no to anything that you do not want to do without guilt or pressure. However, we also want to be open to experiences that excite us or get us out of our comfort zone. For example, I recently started running, and the experience of learning and improving at something from scratch has been hugely rewarding and reminded me how much I really do enjoy learning new skills, so long as those new skills align with my values. We often say no to experiences because our inner critic tells us that we can't do that thing. But how will you know for sure until you've actually given it a shot? Even if you fail or hate it, you'll learn something about yourself, and that alone is incredibly valuable. For example, I tried making cooking videos earlier on this year. I've always loved cooking, and I thought maybe I'll enjoy making those 60-second tasty style videos. I gave it a good shot, but in the end, it wasn't something that I truly aligned with, and instead it led me to start making videos on actionable self-development, and that thing stuck. But I never would have even considered the idea if I hadn't given the cooking videos a shot first. These things play out for a reason. Don't be afraid to explore your options. You never know where they might lead you. Another way to increase your openness in order to facilitate personal growth is to be a lifelong learner. The opportunity to learn is all around you. Read a book you wouldn't usually pick. Chat to someone in the street or at work. Watch a non-fiction show on a channel you usually flick through. Follow someone different on social media and listen to what they have to say. Open your mind to different beliefs, faiths, cultures, cuisines, landscapes, and opinions. If all of your friends look and act exactly like you, you're missing out on a great opportunity to learn more about who and what makes up this incredible world that we live in. And you're also probably being highly influenced by those few people because you feel you should be similar to them. All the shows that you love or the people who you follow loyally, you usually enjoy because they stimulate emotion in you. You become invested in the person or characters. You laugh, you cry, you ruminate on what happened in this week's episode, or think about that particular post for days afterwards. It's how they keep us engaged, but it also influences our internal emotions. Try diversifying your media intake or replacing it with some more valuable content instead. When we surround ourselves with contrasting lifestyles, opinions, and knowledge, we give ourselves room to form our own opinions and beliefs, free from the influence of those closest to us. There is no excuse to stay sheltered in our little comfort bubbles anymore. We have the internet, the greatest invention in globalization. Put it to a positive use. Your personal narrative is incredibly powerful. I'm not a runner, I'll never go vegan, I'll never get a well-paying job, I'm too picky so I'll be alone forever, I'm too clumsy, disorganized, boring. If you say that you can't do it, you won't do it. Your personality is shaped by your experiences, and they never end, which means that you will not be the same person in the future as you are now. I know I'm not the same person that I was 2 years ago, for the better. I definitely made big generalized statements about myself and my ability, and I believed they were true until I allowed myself to be open and take on new experiences, and that, to be honest, my options are limitless. Having a growth mindset means that you open up your world to a whole range of possibilities that you never considered before. When you believe that you can change and improve, suddenly those things start happening easier and more successfully than ever before. But when you have a fixed set of beliefs about yourself and your ability, you confine yourself to those things and never open yourself up to the possibility of bigger and better things. For example, only a few years ago, I considered myself a terrible communicator. I used it as an excuse for my introversion, for my failed friendships, for not joining clubs or societies, or not putting myself forward for jobs. I'd say things like, I can't get my words out in the right order. I find it hard to express myself clearly. Nobody understands me. I wish I knew where this belief stemmed from. I'm sure there was some primary school event that triggered it, being told to speak up in class, or maybe stumbling over my words when reading aloud. Who knows? But what I do know is that when I decided to challenge that belief, and allowed myself to speak up, even if I stumbled sometimes, I discovered that I was actually pretty good at articulating myself when I was confident in the topic. And that although spoken word was still somewhat of a struggle for me, written word flowed with ease. Which makes sense if I consider that I spent the first 15 years of my life with my head buried in a book. You don't have to be a natural artist to do art. You don't have to be a born writer to write. You don't have to come from a family of athletes to run a marathon. Challenge yourself to break through old beliefs that you hold about yourself and your ability, especially the ones where you aren't totally sure where they came from. Something else that we should consider is our external narrative. Take a good hard look at the people that you spend your time with. Do they build you up, encourage your success, congratulate you, and take pride in having you in their life? If not, why exactly do you think that is? Is there jealousy involved? Do they have a motive behind hindering your growth? Are they benefiting from your struggle to find yourself? Or do they just not really understand you? It's not anyone's fault if any of these things are true, but it should help you consider whether it's really worth having people in your life who are holding you back from your true potential. The people that you surround yourself influence the beliefs that you hold about yourself, and therefore your personal narrative. When those people tell you that you are incredible and that they believe in you, that helps solidify that belief in you. When they question why you're bothering or whether you're capable of something that you desire, their doubt seeps into your mind and alters that belief. Now that you know how to facilitate personal growth through knowing yourself, opening yourself up to new experiences, and changing your personal narrative, the final step is to take action. Dedicate time to spending alone listening to yourself. Take the steps needed to open yourself up to new experiences. Implement the habits necessary to change your narrative. It is one thing to read all the self-development and self-help books out there, but unless you are putting your newly acquired knowledge into action, you will never be able to fully facilitate the personal growth that you are looking for. Committing to change is a difficult thing to do. There have been many times in my life where I felt resistance towards an action that I knew would bring me growth in a particular area. It is hard to let go of the comfort that comes with staying the same, but that resistance comes from a place of fear. And most of the time, if it's uncomfortable, it's going to facilitate growth. Here are a few little tips to help you on your journey. If you need to pick up new habits, take a practical approach. Create a reward system for completion of positive habits, or invite a friend to take the journey with you, even if that just means reading the same book at the same time and comparing what you've learnt and how you're going to action it. Cutting down on your social media time will help you get to know what you actually value instead of what you feel you should. We are heavily influenced by social media, especially if we follow a lot of people who have similar lifestyles to us or people with admirable success. Social media is the silent conditioner. It puts ideas or wants into our head that may not reflect how we actually feel, but instead reflect how we feel we should feel. Self-growth is a personal journey. It's going to be hard to really get to know yourself if who you are is entangled in your partner or family. I highly recommend anyone, relationship or not, to regularly spend time on their own. Either taking a weekend for a solo trip, taking yourself out for a coffee alone, sending your partner to the gym or to the supermarket so you can have a couple of hours alone. Your personal growth isn't up for discussion. It's no one else's business. And often you may find that the people who are closest to you may be concerned about the prospect of you changing as a result of this journey, and therefore they may try to discourage you, even implicitly. But this journey is about becoming your best self. There will be ups and downs along the way, but ultimately, if we're looking for fulfillment and purpose in life, we have to know who we are without the influence of others. If your partner or family truly care about you, they will give you the space that you require to facilitate this growth. And they will applaud your commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. And finally, don't forget that self-development is a lifestyle. You are continually changing, and therefore continual reflection is needed for personal growth in order to live our best lives for the long term. But luckily, the more time you spend really getting to know this process, the more comfortable you'll become with your own personal growth. I truly hope that you enjoyed today's video on how to facilitate personal growth. If you made it this far, you are incredible. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and obviously if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, you know what to do. And what about letting me know down in the comments what actions you're going to start to take? Big love to you all, and I will see you next week or over on my Instagram at @the.lovinglifestyle. Putting this in. No.